What's up, Chromies? Great to be back with you. My name is John Sowash. I help teachers and students use Google tools in the classroom, and this is the April EDU update. Every month, I scour the web, the Google update blogs, social media for the top tips, tricks, updates, classroom templates, new features and products that hopefully will help you in the classroom with your students to bring learning to life, make your life a little easier, and add some interest and excitement. As always, there's lots to talk about, lots of updates. Would love to connect with you outside of this podcast. You can find me on all your favorite social media channels, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you hang out. Love to be there and join the conversation with you. On most of the platforms, I am at JR Sowash or the Chromebook Classroom. So hit me up there if you feel like it. These updates I do send out via email each month. If you're not on my email list, I invite you to join. There's about 20,000 teachers who receive this update every month. My goal, again, is to help and assist you with new tools you can find in your classroom. I also have a fun announcement to share with you. This summer, I am going on tour. John's Summer Gemini Tour is coming to a city near you. I'm going to be hitting up 6 cities across the United States, and also running 2 virtual cohorts as well. Here's what that looks like. We'll dive into the details a little bit, but I'm coming to Ohio, Florida, Louisiana, Michigan, Texas, Missouri, and like I said, 2 virtual events as well. This is a one-day intensive academy to help you understand, experience, and practice using Google Gemini and NotebookLM. I have carefully aligned this workshop to the official Gemini Educator exam. So at the end of this workshop, if you desire, you can take the free certification from Google and become an official Gemini certified educator. So this is for those of you who are brand new to AI or those of you who are experienced, and we'll get into all the details and the fun new features. It is not easy to agree to offer a workshop like this because every single day, Google seems like it's rolling out a new update to Gemini, NotebookLM, etc. And this is no different. We've got a lot of updates here this month related to those products. So without further ado, let's dive in. These are my top 10 updates and links for April 2026. Link number 1 is related to Google Vids. Now, Vids is a part of Google Drive. It is a brand new video creation tool and platform. And they have just announced that they've updated and added new video avatars. So this is pretty cool. Vids is nice because it has a lot of AI components to it. So you can create an AI voiceover and now an AI avatar. And this is particularly useful for the classroom because, as many of you have experienced, anytime you're doing a video-based project, there's all kinds of rules and privacy regulations about students appearing on camera. So now a student can write the script, insert that script into Vids, and then allow this video avatar to speak those words. And they have a variety of different avatars. You can see here in this little screenshot, if you're watching over on YouTube, you can do human, video style avatars. There's also animated ones. There's kids. There's a whole bunch of different options that you can check out. This is kind of wild, but you also can customize the avatar. So they have like these base avatars, these, different human elements or avatars, but you can say, hey, I want this guy in the suit to wear a pin with a certain logo, or I want this guy to have a, spinny hat on his head. So those can be prompted And that's what you see here in this screenshot. And it will update the video with those small details. I played around with this a little bit. It does require some refinement. It's not, you have to be very precise and very strategic in how you do this. I got some weird results when I tried this out. Now, before we move on, a couple of details, and you always have to look at the fine print for these announcements. Currently, this feature, so the video avatar feature, is going to be available for Education Plus domains and anyone with the AI Pro license, also the teaching and learning license. So this is a premium feature. However, I'm always hesitant about including premium features in my updates because a lot of you have premium accounts, but not everybody, probably not the majority. I would say probably about 40% of you have either Education Plus or other related premium accounts. I don't want to leave people out. However, Google has indicated overtly and subtly that they do plan on slowly pushing a lot of these premium features down into lower and lower tiers over time. So a lot of the features that did require that, very expensive AI Pro license are now coming down to EDU Plus. Eventually, I think they'll come down to Education Standard and Fundamentals, which is what most of you have. So I'm going to include a few more of these premium updates just to give you a sense of what's coming. It may be 6 to 12 months before some of these hit your account, but you'll know about it and you'll be ready to go. So that's update number 1 for this month. Update number 2 is a simple one. Google is expanding language support for Gemini in Google Classroom. This has been limited to English up to now, but it is expanding to all languages that Google Classroom supports. And there's a gazillion of them. There's tons of languages. And so just, to remind you, Gemini in Classroom is that feature that appears on the sidebar where a teacher can click on it and get support for creating lesson materials, audio podcasts, quizzes, and things like that. This is not a student-facing feature. We'll talk about some student-facing things here in a little bit, but this is specifically for educators. Has only been available to accounts in English, but now all Google supported languages will be included as well. And that's available for all accounts. Doesn't matter what version of Google you have. 75 languages. I was trying to look that up. I am not going to read them off, but there are a lot of them. Some languages that I have never even heard of. Google's always been pretty good about language support, rolling things out as quickly as they can to all languages. All right, link number 3 is another Google Classroom update. This one was just announced today, the day I'm recording this. This is personal class notebooks for college students. Now, this is another example of an update that isn't going to impact K-12 teachers immediately, but again, I expect that this feature will roll down to K-12 accounts in the near future. So let me read a little bit of this announcement from Google. Last year, we announced that educators can use NotebookLM to create teacher-led AI experiences for students in Google Classroom. Since then, students have been able to access teachers' interactive study guides and learning aids created with NotebookLM. Today, we are allowing students in higher education who are 18 years of age or older to create their own notebooks for courses in Google Classroom. Some of you may have played around with this. If you go into Google Classroom, you click the Create button, you as a teacher will see the Create Notebook button, and you can design and create a notebook from your material. This feature was always teacher driven, so the teacher had to do this and then share that notebook with students. There's pros and cons to this. The notebook that is created is owned by the teacher and is read only for students. So they can look at it, but they can't add anything or customize anything. They can't really use the studio to create their own learning material. This allows a student to take all of the class materials, put them in a notebook, add their own notes, their own resources, their own essays and whatever, and use that as a study tool, study resource. NotebookLM is taking over higher education. It is the hottest product. Professors, students, researchers, everybody is wild about NotebookLM because it is so unique and useful. There's really very few products like it. I don't think we've really fully tapped the potential of NotebookLM in K-12 education, especially at the high school level, but this is going to be an incredible tool. It is available now in part, and I expect this will open up. As someone who used to teach AP courses, I taught AP biology, this would be tremendous. I had a bunch of notes, my students had notes, and they would be able to create their own notebooks and use that for studying. So look for that. Again, you won't see anything immediately, but I wouldn't be surprised if by next fall, the start of the 26-27 school year, if this rolled down to students as well. All right, moving on. More Gemini updates. Google has added a new Gemini integration with Google Docs. The title of their update is New Gemini Capabilities in Google Docs to help you go from blank page to brilliance. I've played around with this a little bit, and it's interesting. It is nice. I think it is an upgrade. This update is only available for Education Plus and AI Pro customers, so it won't be available to everyone. But let me demo it. So I'm going to just open up a brand new document. And Google's been playing around with how to best integrate Gemini into all the Drive tools, Sheets, Docs, Gmail as well. At the bottom, there's now a Gemini box. Now, if I ignore that temporarily, I start typing, it kind of disappears. And then I get this little Gemini sparkle at the very bottom of my screen. If I put my mouse over that, it will bring that prompt back to life. Now, they have some interesting new features, including this one that says match document format. This could be a tremendous time saver if you have ever had to go through the very arduous process of formatting a document to make it look better, putting the headers in, matching your fonts, consistent font sizes, colors, things like that. You can say, here's my document. The content is good. The formatting is not. Here's a finished version with the correct formatting. Match these together. That would be a tremendous time saver. So I've done some things here with this Gemini chat, just describing what I want. It kind of uses the editing or the revision feature for Google Docs, where we add a comment and you can accept or reject those comments. Gemini will put in its new content as suggestions. You can review it and then accept or reject it as you see fit. So I thought it was a thoughtful integration. It's very convenient. You can do all of this in regular Gemini. So it's not necessarily like better than Gemini. It's just a different way of interacting with that content. Google updated the Gemini integration for Docs. They have also updated the Gemini integration for Google Slides. Now, this one is very useful. This one is available for everyone. So if you go to Google Gemini and you prompt it to create a slide presentation on, sloths, it's going to create a Google slide presentation. In the past, the problem has been that the presentation was not editable. You could prompt Gemini to edit, but once you exported its creation to slides itself, you would find that the actual slides were just images, so you couldn't make any changes to them. Google has changed that, and now the slide presentations that it generates are fully editable slides. One thing that I've been telling a lot of educators after doing, dozens of workshops with them is that you shouldn't expect perfection from an AI assistant like Gemini or ChatGPT. The goal is to get you pretty close. If Gemini was able to generate an absolutely 100% perfect slide presentation, Why do you exist? You are going to let Gemini do 75% of the work. We're going to open up this slide presentation on the Sloth. We're going to look at it. When I export this to slides, I'm able to make my final adjustments, put in some personal photos, add a slide, remove a slide, get it to that finish line, to that 100%. This is a lot easier when I can actually edit the components of the slide deck that Gemini creates. So if you've ever created slide decks with Gemini, I think you'll be pleasantly pleased. You'll be surprised by the update. So I just exported my Gemini creation to slides. And now you can see, this is all full text or rich text. I got my images. If I I don't like that image, I can swap it out. You could not do that previously without having to kind of basically start over. So that's a good update. That is available for everyone. Just go to the Gemini app, ask it to create a slide deck on whatever, and off you go. We've got another update for NotebookLM. And I've done quite a few webinars on NotebookLM recently, so I've been spending a lot of time in here. NotebookLM has a feature called the Studio. So when you open up NotebookLM, there are kind of three sections to look at. On the left side, you've got your sources. In the center, you have your chat. And then on the right side, you have the Studio. And the Studio is where you can create those audio overviews, slide decks, mind maps, flashcards, quizzes, infographics, and videos. Up until recently, the video overviews were okay, but not awesome. They were basically narrated PowerPoint presentations. So it was a lot of text. It would pull out some text from your sources, and then the narrator, kind of like the audio overview, would kind of talk about it. Now, I mean, it was pretty cool because you just clicked a button and it generated for you automatically. So absolutely nothing wrong with that. But the visuals left a lot to be desired. Google has just introduced what it is calling cinematic video overviews. So there's now, when you click on create video, you can create cinematic, explainers, or briefs. The explainer is going to be more the text-based video that I just described, but the cinematic ones are pretty incredible. So let me just show you a couple seconds of a demo video that I generated. This is a notebook that I created for an middle school science class. So this is my solar system unit. And to this notebook, I uploaded my slide decks, some articles, study guides, all of my middle school solar system resources. I asked for a video overview. Now, I'm not going to do this live with you because it takes probably 30 minutes to create those overviews. But I did this in advance, and I'm just going to play a couple seconds of this. I uploaded it on YouTube. You'll hear the audio. If those of you who are listening to this, you'll hear the audio. If you go to the show notes for this episode, I've embedded the actual video where you can see it. I'll try to narrate a little bit so you can...
If you travel far enough into the deep, freezing emptiness of space, eventually you will hit a blazing wall of light. That light is our sun. It is a nearly perfect sphere made of plasma, a superheated gas so energetic that it glows fiercely and projects heat across our entire neighborhood. The sun is so gigantic, it accounts for...
So this was impressive. What you see in the screen now, so there's some text. It says 99.8% of the mass of our solar system is from the sun, a true heavyweight, etc. This is a screenshot from my presentation that was uploaded as a source in NotebookLM. So it is not making this content up. It is referencing the content that I uploaded and seamlessly, very naturally integrating it into the video. This is an incredible opportunity to create videos for students who are absent on important instructional days. You know, you have this big kind of introductory lesson on a new topic, and there's 3 kids missing. You're like, oh my goodness. And now you got to figure out how I'm going to give them this information without having to reteach the whole lesson. If you were to upload whatever material that you taught to NotebookLM, create one of these cinematic videos, I mean, that would be an incredible way. This is, how long is this video?
99.8% of all the matter in our...
Now, probably not the exact same as being there in class, but a whole lot easier than having to try to reteach a lesson to 2-3 kids. So very impressed by that. Again, the cinematic overviews for NotebookLM. I think there are limits. Let me look it up on how many of these you can create. Oops, I linked to the wrong thing. Let me look for NotebookLM cinematic overviews. Try to find how many you can create. All right, here's the blog post. I don't think it's available for everybody today. I'll have to look it up. It doesn't say in the blog post. This probably is going to require an Education Plus license or above. And then there's limits on how many videos you can create. But again, you're not going to create 10 of these a day. You would create one, occasionally based on what you're doing in class. All right, we're moving forward here. We've got 4 links left. So we've 6 down and 4 to go. Thanks for being a listener. It would be very helpful if you wouldn't mind subscribing over on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Leave me a review. Those reviews help other people find the show. Hopefully it'll be helpful for them as well. If you've got a favorite resource, something that you think would be worth sharing with others, feel free to send it to me. You can check me out on social media or sign up for my email newsletter. You'll get that. Just hit reply and you can send any tips and suggestions my way. All right, this next link is an interesting one. Probably caused a lot of controversy. So this is about vibe coding. This is an article from K12dive.com, and the title is Vibe Coding Helped a Washington District Save $250,000 in EdTech costs. So this is Peninsula School District in Washington State. They were using Claude to create their own versions of various EdTech tools. Now, it did not specify which tools it recreated, but when you stop and think about it for a minute, think about some of the EdTech tools that you use on a daily basis. Some of them could be fairly easily replicated, especially a lot of learning games, simulations, study aids, practice problems, etc. I'm trying to be very cautious not to name any tools, lest someone come after me and get mad at me. But this article states that the district identified 3 or 4 software subscription tools it will likely not review, including a workflow automation tool for its HR and finance department, because it was able to recreate them vibe coding. Now, they are paying quite a bit for their vibe coding resources, and this is not the basic vibe coding. You go to Gemini, you type in a prompt, you get a match game. It's a little more sophisticated than that. They are using Claude, and they have a fairly high subscription. I think they're paying $200-300 a month for the premium version of Claude AI to build these tools. There's also some concerns about the security, data privacy of these vibe-coded applications. There's a discussion taking place right now in the K12 sysadmin Reddit thread about vibe-coded apps and the security vulnerabilities that they potentially open up. I vibe coded some things. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I could just speak and it creates something for me. But does it have robust cybersecurity protocols? Is it resistant to hacking? Is it retaining data correctly? There's a lot of considerations. And that's what the system admins are kind of discussing about, if it's worth it or not. So there's a lot to digest here. It's an interesting article. Encourage you to check it out. I think it's cool. I'm not on the hook for any of this. So, I'm very curious watching if these applications they created are actually robust enough to withstand the rigors of the classroom and students messing around and hacking and all of that. If so, $250,000 is not a small chunk of change to save. And I know a lot of schools are experiencing some budget challenges due to changes in enrollment, loss of federal funding. This potentially could be a way to squeeze as much value as possible out of what you're getting. Our next link is a celebration of the pending end of the school year. This is just a reminder that your high school seniors, and if you're a K-8 school, your 8th graders, can utilize the Google Transfer tool to transfer their emails and documents to a personal Gmail account. I have 2 resources that I can share with you. First off, if you are an IT administrator, I have a set of instructions and a blog post about managing the Google Takeout and Transfer resources using the Google Admin Console. So the right people have access. You can kind of turn it on, turn it off at a set period of time. There's also a brand new app that's pretty cool. I stumbled upon this kind of accidentally on a managed Chromebook. If you open the app launcher, so that's the little dot in the bottom left corner of your screen, open the app launcher and do a search for content transfer. Google has pushed out an app that seniors can use. Again, you put in your current email, you put in your new personal email address, and it will copy your emails and documents into that personal email account. So it's built into the Chromebook. This does need to be enabled for your school Chromebooks. So perhaps you're going to give your students a month to use this transfer tool if they desire, and move their content to a personal Gmail account. I do have a video that I created for students that walks them through what this process is like. Teachers can also do this as well. If you are moving to a new district or retiring, you potentially can transfer your Google Drive files to a personal Google account. Obviously, that is going to be based on your school district's data privacy rules and policies. So you'll have to check with them to see if that's allowed, but it's a very convenient way to move that data over. So check those out. I'm also sharing in the show notes for this episode a copy of my student written instructions. So this is just a Google Doc that says, here's how you get started. Here's how you find the app. Here are some things to consider. So some common issues that will crop up when students try this. Number one, this only transfers files that you own. So anything that's in a shared drive, anything that's shared with you will not be transferred. Secondly, it doesn't transfer your contacts, your tasks, your calendar events, your Google chat messages. It's just the email. And probably the biggest issue, the biggest challenge is that a free personal Gmail account only contains 15 gigabytes of storage. So if your school account has 25 gigs of data in it, it's not going to work. You'll have to either delete stuff or pay for additional storage capacity in your personal account. This becomes a much bigger issue if students have saved Google Photos to their school account. And I see this, I do Google admin audits for school districts, and I see this all the time. There's always at least 5 to 10 students who have an absolutely absurd amount of storage in their account. I mean, I saw a student one time that had 1 terabyte of data saved to their account. Most of it was Google Photos. That means they have purposely or accidentally synced their mobile phone to their school account, which works fine while they're a student, but as soon as they leave and their account is deactivated or deleted, they're going to lose access to all those photos. So Using the Google Takeout tool is the only way to do that. You have to download it, upload it. But if you've got, 50 gigs of photos, you got to pay. You can't fit that much in your personal account, which is probably how we got into that place in a minute. So May is a good time to have these conversations. The transfer process can take up to a week, depending on how much data is being moved. So you don't want to start this on the last day of school. You really need to kind of work on it for an entire month to make sure that you get everything. So I'll give you those instructions. Hopefully those are helpful. Feel free to customize them for your district. Send them out to your students. All right, 2 more updates wrapping up this month. My focus is on Google, but I do keep an eye on other cloud-based tools, and probably my second favorite web-based product is Canva. I use Canva a ton. Pretty much every graphic that I create for this podcast, YouTube, I do all my YouTube videos in Canva, spend so much time in Canva. Earlier this month was Canva Create, which is I think it happens twice a year. Their conference or their big launch event where they announce their updates and new products. Not surprisingly, there was a lot of AI related updates. Probably the biggest update, biggest launch was the announcement of Canva AI 2.0. We'll see what that looks like. That is not fully available yet. You should definitely check out the Canva keynote, if for nothing else than the absolutely over-the-top stage design. I mean, they are a design company. Their stages are absolutely absurd. I mean, it is incredible. And I want you to pay very close attention to the speakers and how the speakers' outfits always coordinate with whatever is on the screen. They do a wonderful job. This one wasn't quite as crazy as the last one, but it was pretty impressive. I did skim through the announcement. I mean, it's over an hour long. I skimmed through it. There's lots of different updates for designers and marketers and things like that. But there was one update specifically for education, and that is something they're called Learn Grid. Learn Grid. And so Canva has combined all of their classroom templates and resources into this single page. So if you go to canva.com/learn-grid, you can see it. It's not necessarily new as much as it's just a consolidation of their resources. So they have some new filters. You can filter by state. So you can find standard activities that are standard aligned by state, grade, subject, topic. Find exactly what you want. But they did add a new feature called interactive games. And I have been playing around with this. Looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4. They got 5 different options currently: multiple choice, sequence, matching, categorizing, and fill in the blank, which is kind of like a Mad Libs type thing. This is actually a form of vibe coding. So when you click on one of these learning games, it says pick your curriculum, your grade, your subject, your topic, and then describe what you want. And then Canva's AI engine will actually build with code the activity that you have described for it. Now, I did one very quickly on taxonomy. Again, I taught high school biology, so we would talk about animal, plant taxonomy, kingdom, final, class order, family, genus, species, that kind of stuff. So I did a little matching game. Put my name in. It's going to give me a bunch of organisms on the left, and then I have to match it with the correct kingdoms on the right. So very simple. I probably would refine this a little bit more before I would share it with students. But this is all free. Canva's made a huge commitment to education. Canva.com/education. Sign up for free and create something for your students. All right, our final announcement, final update for the month is I'm going to try to summarize some of the things that went on at the Cloud Next conference. This is a Google event. So Google Cloud Next is an annual event for developers. It's not an education conference. It's pretty technical, but it is something that I pay attention to because the things that Google announces at Cloud Next, these are the tools that developers use to create the next generation of consumer products and applications. So you can kind of anticipate where things are going by looking at the developer resources that Google is preparing and announcing. The Cloud Next conference was dominated by a single word or a phrase. They called it the Agentic era. And when you look through all of the announcements, this blog post here has 260 things that were announced at the Google Cloud Next conference. Agentic appears 37 times in this blog post. So what you can expect in the next 12 to 24 months is a huge increase and emphasis on AI agents. Now, I did a lot of research and thinking, trying to understand what do we have now and what is different about this. An agent, so if you are comfortable using Gemini, ChatGPT, whatever, you go to those tools, you type in a question and it gives you a response. It's kind of more like a Google search. It doesn't really act on your behalf until you open it up and seek it out. Agentic AI will complete tasks, complex tasks, for you without your direct instruction. And I'm struggling to come up with ideas and examples because we don't have any. We're figuring this out. It's such a brand new technology. So you might say, hey, next week I need to teach a lesson on so-and-so. I need to collect a bunch of resources, potential videos, lessons, worksheets, lesson ideas, simulations, activities for this. I don't have time to do this right now. So you would create an AI agent who would go out to your favorite websites or whatnot, bring together all of those materials and then present them to you. And you would say, I like this, I don't like that, go. Grading. You could say, here's a folder of essays. I want you to go and evaluate them based on this rubric, this criteria. So the agent is working on your behalf. So Google was announcing all of these tools that developers can implement into their products to make them agentic, to develop what agents look like. The other big announcement or emphasis at the Cloud Next conference was the idea of workspace intelligence. This one, I don't know. I'm a little skeptical. So this is what I'm going to read from this blog post. Workspace intelligence is unified real-time understanding to power agentic work by understanding the relationship within workspace apps, docs, slides, Gmail, etc., active projects, collaborators, and your organization's domain knowledge. The idea here is right now, like your principal sends you an email about a thing, and then you've also got a shared document, and then you've got a virtual meeting with the recording and meeting notes, all on the same topic. But the data is scattered between email, calendar, Meet, Drive, a whole bunch of different places. Google's idea that they're announcing workspace intelligence is a unified AI that will understand that all of these services are connected and will be able to connect the dots between the email over here is related to the document over there, which is related to the calendar event and the Google search and the Google Classroom notification. All of that's related, and you don't have to give it those tools. It's like, I need to know more about this thing. Go figure it out, and it will be able to do that. Now, I read through the blog post that accompanied, this one here. So it's a blog post on the Google Workspace blog, Introducing Workspace Intelligence, April 22nd, 2026. Workspace delivers unified real-time understanding to power agentic work, information gathering, situational awareness, personalization. We've got this fancy graphic with all the different products being unified. So you read through this and you're like, okay, I'm in. And then at the very bottom, it's just like, we'll announce this when it's ready. Like, there's nothing actually tangible about this thing. It's more of a conceptual idea than it is an actual product. So there's this idea called workspace intelligence, but there's nothing really there that you can go experience, try, and check out. There's all kinds of data privacy, concerns. Like, do you really want all of these different sources talking to each other? Shared data that's in a shared drive, data that's shared with me, like pulling data in from other people's accounts within your organization. I mean, it definitely could be helpful. It also could be an absolute disaster. So this has to be very thoughtfully implemented in order for it to work well, especially in education. I mean, I'm thinking about what I feel is one of the most complicated parts of education, which would be IEPs and special education services. You've got federal laws, you've got state laws, you've got local laws, you've got so much documentation, you have multiple stakeholders who are involved, you have specialists, content area teachers, special education teachers, administrators, parents, guardians, the student. If it was possible to pull all that information and understand all that and pull that together for the development of a really personalized IP, that's brilliant. But that could also, you can imagine, go off the rails really quickly if it gets incorrect information as well. So I guess I'll give Google the benefit of the doubt. There's a thing called workspace intelligence. We're going into the agentic era. We'll see where it heads. It's an interesting time. I do feel that we are kind of on the precipice of what you might call, I don't know, AI 2.0. The chatbots, Gemini, ChatGPT, etc., kind of 1.0. We've started to dabble in connecting AI into Gmail, Drive, Calendar, Classroom, etc. And now the agentic era, we'll see where that heads next. I'm along for the ride with you. I am certainly pro technology, but I am not all technology is good or necessary. I try to have a very balanced approach for these things. So I'm a little apprehensive about where this is going and would like more control. I guess my biggest issue with all of these things is you can't opt out. Like, it's just, here it is and you will love it. There are some things that I think are very helpful and good. And there are other things like, nope, that's not helpful for me. I choose to not do that. And there's really no way to opt out for a lot of these things. So we'll see. Hopefully our concerns will be heard by Google, and maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. Love to hear your thoughts on this as well. Hit me up on social media, send me an email. Comment on the blog post associated with this episode and let me know your thoughts as well. That wraps up the April edition of the Google EDU update. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being one of my Chromies. Look forward to chatting with you next month. Hope you have a wonderful end of your school year. Potentially by the next time my next episode comes out, some of you will be wrapping up and on summer vacation. So enjoy. Hope to see you on the Gemini tour. Got lots of fun locations coming up. So if you are in Ohio, Florida, Louisiana, Michigan, Texas, or Missouri, Would love to meet you at one of those local events. If you're not in one of those states, I have 2 virtual academies taking place, one in June and another in July. I have gotten some pretty good traction with those, so those seats are filling up. If you're interested, I encourage you to jump on it quickly. I do cap those typically about 40 people per cohort, so I can work with everyone individually. Thanks for joining me on the Chromebook Classroom Podcast. See you back here next time.